Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I actually changed my topic because we pretty much covered what is necessary for you to know. So I focused last night and rewrote everything to give you resources, high school, and how to get into university, because that's a big issue. So before I begin, I don't want to, sorry, I'm old and I can't read with my glasses on. So I'm trying to just glance at this so I don't go off topic. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So I'm going to try to be as quick as I can, talking about the difference between high school homeschooling and elementary homeschooling. And before I forget, it's not part of my speech, Angela mentioned something about the intent to homeschool, that you have to register. You're best if you do this to cover yourself if your child has been in a public school or a private school that's accredited. And that's just saying, my child won't be at school this year, I'm going to homeschool. Now, here's the part you need to understand. If you're halfway through a term and you get into an argument over curriculum or whatever, your kid had a fight with another kid and you didn't like the way the discipline went down, you can't yank your kid out of school and say, I'm homeschooling. They will send CS8, what is it called, Children's Aid? They will send the school after you. The school will say they are denying their child education, or they're homophobic, or we think their child is trans and they're trying to avoid this and this isn't good for the child. So don't put your family in jeopardy. Finish the term. Swallow the issue, finish the term, then give your letter of intent at the next term or the next grade, because you've got 2 terms per year. Then you submit then they can't come at you. You haven't made an emotional decision, you've prepared. So now, the curriculums that Angela was speaking of, part of my presentation was that I was asked to get a list of resources, Islamic schools. We tried for Canada, and I didn't have time. I only had a few days, maybe 5 days to prepare this. So in the back, Brother Sayed printed up what I made out on a spreadsheet, just an Excel spreadsheet. And it's just a stapled so that you have some kind of organization of what I created. And this is eventually, he has plans to make a dedicated website to all the educational resource issues. And this will be included on there. So if there isn't enough in the back, it will be online. Just keep in touch with Seerah.com. So what I have created, city by city in the province of Ontario, all of the Islamic schools that I could find online, like on the internet, like that I could find that were listed through Google, right? These are physical schools. Though they're not all physical schools. I was pleased to find out how many online schools we suddenly have in the Islamic schools. So I've got every city in here. If you continue, there's a page, oh boy, it's not included here. On the website will also be the page of online schools. Do that. Mostly it deals with SATs, and in this resource guide, satontario.com is where you go to register for that in Ontario. It's an American site, but it has a Canadian component. And they'll have to do a literacy test to pass their comprehension in English. And like I said, some universities have different rules, like you have to write a bio of your education, or they might ask you to see some projects that you have done throughout high school, some tests that you've taken, so keep everything if you're going to homeschool. Now, homeschooling high school is pretty daunting because I don't know advanced functions. There is so much resource online today than there was 10 years ago. It's incredible how many sites will educate your high school students for you. Really all you're doing is you're just making sure they turn their phone off, sit down and get the work done. And if they have a question, these online schools they have availability of contacting the teacher for questions and guidance. So one in particular is called TVO ILC. TVO Ontario, Male Television Channel. TVO ILC, Independent Learning Center. There's another one called VLC, which is virtual learning, and that's through the public school system. So you may get into some racy stuff, I'm not sure, I haven't used VLC, but at least you don't have a teacher in there pumping the students to just dive into this ideology. You may be able to your high school students will be, savvy enough to know, okay, just skip this, let mommy do that. Let mommy turn that project in, and then you can just keep them away from it. ILC in 2009 was accredited in the grades that they provided. Now let's talk about what is accredited, because this is essential to know in high school. An accredited school is a school with the Ministry of the Province, Ministry of Education of Ontario, has examined their curriculum and done all the things that Brother was telling us, and then they allow you to send the grades in to the ministry on something called an Ontario School Record. So public school, Catholic school, accredited private schools, accredited Islamic schools, all submit your child's grades, which is their passing final grade, into their OSR. They also submit their, the midterm progress report. So that's on their education record, and that record follows them every single school they go to. And if you go out of province, you need to get that transcript and take it with you to the next school. Because those 40 credits is what gets your child access, the accredited grades of those 40 subjects, gets your child access to what's called OUAC, Ontario University Application Center or something? Center. And it's an online application to get into university. You don't have to submit anything. Your child already has a key, a password to get into that if they've been to public school, Catholic school, Islamic school, accredited. Anything accredited, even if it's an online school, if it's accredited, that's an automatic bridge. And you just pick what schools, what subjects, like what programs you want your child to apply for. And then you might not get what you applied for, but a lot of them will give you an alternative. They'll say, well, you didn't make it into mechanical engineering, but we're ready to offer you civil engineering. An example like that. The other one is called OCAS, Ontario College Application Center, and it's the same process. And those students who have access to OUAC and OCAS, they get a pre-registration registration that all the other students don't get. The international students, the homeschooling students, the students who went to schools that were not accredited by the Ministry of Ontario, Ministry of Education of Ontario. So even if you don't get an accreditation, let's say you just homeschool yourself and you get books and you get online courses and you put your child through high school, now they want to go to university. Yes, there's a backdoor way to do it. They actually hold spots for mature students and homeschool students, but they still have a prerequisition for certain subjects. If your child wants to go into the engineering subjects, they're going to have advanced functions. The thing with advanced functions grade 12 is it has a grade 11 prerequisite. So they have to take functions in grade 11 to get advanced functions in grade 12 to meet that standard to apply for the university course. The same with chemistry. If you're going to go into the health sciences, you're going to need chemistry. Chemistry grade 12 university level has a prerequisite for chemistry grade 11 university level. So you need to start getting ready in the first term of grade 10 to be able to access some of these courses that you might not be able to find accreditation for in grades 11 and 12. One of the ways you can do that is you go to the public school and the Catholic school, and you tell them I want to register my child and get a student number. Because once you have a student number, they have the permission to take summer school courses and night school courses. And they can start, after they graduated grade 10, that summer, they can apply for the grade 11 credit courses like the chemistry and the advanced functions course I'm talking about. If they need those prerequisites. So now, you're going to have to start to decide what field, not what program, but what field your child is going to study. Medicine, engineering, whatever it's going to be. Is it going to be administration? Is it whatever they're going to be in? You need to start your research in grade 10. What are the prerequisites and how are you going to get them? So if you you could basically take 2 credit courses in the summer, and you can take, I don't know if you can take only one, because it's only like twice a week. If you can balance out the nights that aren't conflictual, your child could get 2 credits per semester. So that's 4 credits in a year. So you can get the prerequisites to get in. If you can't get through that, or you just don't want them near the public school system with their curriculums, because they're not going to teach them anything in advanced functions. They're not going to get into this crazy sex ed education in chemistry. If you don't want to do it that way, then you're going to have to put them in public school. I mean, that's your only choice. I shouldn't say that. The only other option is that you do find online accredited schools to get those topics if you want them to go on the normal stream. So, what else do you need to know? Let's see. I don't want to keep you here all day, so I'm fast tracking this. So here I found it. MAC is offering accredited and accredited courses. Where are we now? Now, here's an example, ILC. What does ILC give you? So, and a lot of them are like this. I didn't have to teach anything. I could supplement if I wanted to help my kids understand the material. But they send the workbooks, they send the assignments. When your child is finished with that module, it gets sent back to the teacher. The teacher grades it, sends the next module. So there are modules within a term. When let's say they're doing math, all the modules are done, ILC grades them, sends that grade to the Ministry of Ontario onto their Ontario School Record, OSR. Remember that, because that's what you need in a university, OSR. They do everything. You're just there to make sure they're not up all night on their phone, or they're just pretending to do their homework, their assignments, and they're actually watching a movie. That's all you're needed for. You don't have to be a teacher at the high school level. There are so many resources. If you're capable of teaching all the subjects, and your husband is helping you, brothers, so many are gone. It's not just the mom's job. These kids need their father's discipline and guidance, and the fathers need to be proactive in this. So, this resource in the back is basically all I'm bringing to you. Remember that you need, in the first term of the grade 10 year, that's September to February, get in there. If you want to get those courses, those prerequisites, get in there and get your child registered, both public and the Catholic, and then get the dates when summer school starts and when night school starts, because they go like this. These kids have failed a course and they need it to graduate. So they're on top of their game because their guidance counselors are pushing them. You need to register today. Register the day it opens and get the courses your child needs. One more thing. If you wait too long, you're going to miss an entire year. Because this is a lot of material you have to submit. as a homeschooler. If you don't have those 40 credits, not just the prerequisites, if you don't have the 40 credits from an accredited school, it's a lot of preparation work for you to get them in, to get them accepted into university. And here's the last thing. Student loan, Ontario student loan, won't take your application until your child's been accepted to a program. Now you're in a crunch. You don't have to take a student loan because of the river. But they also give you a grant that you can take. So you apply for a student loan, you accept the grant, and you apply for the grant, you accept the grant, you refuse the loan. And some college programs, that grant is enough to pay their tuition that year, that term. You could get through some of those courses without coming out of your pocket. So you can't get that, and hopefully, if you're financially strained, your child is going to have to go to university or college within bus distance of your home or driving distance of your house. But some of you will be financially capable of sending your child to British Columbia or Quebec or Ottawa or whatever, and that's going to be a student loan if you can't afford it. And you're not going to have money to pay the rent and buy the food. So be on top of the deadlines. I hope that helps you guys. This will be, talk to Brother Sayed, when this will be available, but this will be up on a website and stay up on a website. And like I said, it's got the online schools list for the two. So, thank you very much. Here's your resources out of the registration table.